All right. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Hello.
Shabbat shalom. Let me get this little bit of glare coming through. All right. Okay. We are back. Continuing on with our look at the triennial Torah portion. We actually this week are finishing up the book of Leviticus. We are in the last chapter 27 of Leviticus. We are going to be taking a look at Leviticus chapter 27 and dealing with a difficult vow. A difficult vow. That's what we're going to be talking about today. All right, Leviticus 27. A difficult vow. All right, so we're going to go ahead and jump right in. I think we'll go ahead and read the entire chapter, talk a little bit about it, see if we can gain from it here. Let me pull up the chapter here on the screen. Okay, so we'll go ahead. I think we'll just go ahead and just read all the way through it, and then we'll just go back and go into it, talk about it a little more.
27, right? Okay.
Yeah.
It says, and Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, speak to the children of Israel, and say to them, when a man separates a vow by your evaluation and of lives unto Yahweh, when your evaluation is of a male from 20 years old and up to 60 years old, then your evaluation shall be 50 shekels of silver, according to the shekel of the set apart place. And if a female, then your evaluation shall be 30 shekels. And if from 50 or 5 years old up to 20 years old, then your evaluation for a male shall be 20 shekels, and for a female 10 shekels. And if from a new moon old up to 5 years old, then your evaluation for a male shall be 5 shekels of silver, and for a female your evaluation shall be 3 shekels of silver. And if from 60 years old and above, if it is a male, then your evaluation shall be 15 shekels, and for a female 10 shekels. But if he is too poor to pay your evaluation, then he shall present himself before the priest, and the priest shall set a value before him. According to the ability of him who vowed, the priest shall value him. And if a beast of which they bring an offering to Yahweh, all such given to Yahweh is set apart, he is not to replace it or exchange it, good for spoil it, or spoil it for good. And if he at all exchanges beast for beast, then both it and one exchange for it is set apart. And if it is any unclean beast of which they do not bring an offering to Yahweh, then he shall present the beast before the priest, and the priest shall value it, whether it is good or spoil it, according to your evaluation, O priest, so it shall be. But if he indeed redeems it, then he shall add 1/5 to your evaluation. And when a man sets his house apart to be set apart to Yahweh, and the priest shall evaluate whether it is good or spoiled. As the priest values it, so it stands. If he who sets it apart does redeem his house, then he shall add 1/5 of the silver of your evaluation to it, and it shall be his. And if a man sets apart to Yahweh a field he owns, then the evaluation shall be according to the seed for it, a omer of barley seed at 50 shekels of silver. If he sets his field apart from the year of Jubilee, according to the evaluation, it stands. But if he sets his field apart after the Jubilee, then the priest shall reckon to him the silver due according to the years that remain till the year of Jubilee, and shall be deducted from your evaluation. And if he who sets the field apart ever wishes to redeem it, then he shall add 1/5 of silver to your evaluation to it, and it shall be his. And if he does not redeem the field, or if he has sold the field to another man, it is no longer redeemed. But the field, when it is released to the Jubilee, is set apart to Yahweh as a dedicated field to be the possession of the priest. And if a man sets apart to Yahweh a field which he has bought, which is not the field of his possession, then the priest shall reckon to him the amount of your evaluation up to the year of Jubilee, and he shall give the evaluation on the day set apart to Yahweh. And in the year of Jubilee, the field returns to him from whom he bought it, to him whose is the possession of the land. And all your evaluations are to be according to the shekel of the set apart place, 20 gerahs of the shekel. However, a firstborn of the beast, which is the firstborn to Yahweh, no man sets it apart. Whether bull or sheep, it belongs to Yahweh. If among the unclean beasts, then he shall ransom it according to your evaluation, and shall add 1/5 to it. And if it is not redeemed, then it shall be sold according to your evaluation. However, whatever a man lays under ban for Yahweh, of all he has, man and beast, or the field of his possessions, is not sold or redeemed. Whatever is laid under ban, is most set apart to Yahweh. No one under men, among men, is ransomed, but shall certainly be put to death. And all the tithe of the land, of the seed of the land, or the fruit of the tree, belongs to Yahweh. It is set apart to Yahweh. If a man indeed redeems any of his tithes, he adds 1/5 to it. And the entire tithe of the herd and of the flock, all that passes under the rod, the 10th one is set apart to Yahweh. He does not inquire whether it is good or spoil it, nor does he exchange it. And if he exchanges it at all, then both it and the exchanged are set apart. It is not redeemed. These are the commands which Yahweh commanded Moshe to the children of Israel on Mount Sinai.
Okay, very good. So we see over here, if we go back, dealing with these difficult vows that are made by man. These things that is talking about are basically dealing with man vowing himself or his property, or people that are under his charge unto the service of the the tabernacle. Okay, so a man making a vow, if he was to say that, I'm going to bring this particular offering, or I'm going to cause for my worker to help do whatever it is that he could do at the tabernacle for 5 days or whatever. A man making a vow that is in connection to kind of the holy purposes of the Most High. These, the things that it's going through is, how he would rectify that situation should he decide at some point that he wasn't going to fulfill it. Right? So automatically, as soon as he makes the vow, there's a monetary value placed on the situation. Okay? If a man volunteers his services, and I'm saying volunteer because we're not dealing with something that he's commanded to do. We're dealing with something that he, out of his own free will, decided to do and spoke out of his mouth that he was going to do it. And so as soon as he does that, there's a monetary value that's added, that's created from that thing based on the individual. And it's interesting that, when you look at these things here, they're giving you, like, it starts off with the male from 20 years up to 60 years old. When they, in Israel, when they did the census, which actually we'll actually see coming up very soon in the book of Numbers. But these years over here are actually the years that will find that a man is able to go out, to be counted and go out to war. And so the price that's put on him is based on his ability, his value, and his ability to go out and actually fight. Right? And so his value is based on his ability to actually serve in the kingdom in war. Right? The most valuable person is this person who's between 20 and 60 years. I guess that's dealing with him at the peak of his strength and his use and his ability to be used for the nation. And so it's interesting when we look at this and we see, he pays this price if in fact he decides that he never should have said that he was going to do the thing, and so instead he'll pay money instead, right? And then it goes down in terms of if it's a man or if it's a woman, if it's a child or babies, you know what I mean? It goes all the way down to 1 month old to 5-year-olds, right? Their value. But the thing is that what I thought was interesting about all of this is that all of these things are connected to your promise that you make to the service of the tabernacle or the service of the Most High. Right? As soon as you say, I'm going to do this or do that, or I'm going to offer this or offer that, or I'm going to dedicate this to the Most High or dedicate that to the Most High, there's a price that's put on that thing that you're offering. There's a connection that's made as soon as you open up your mouth and dedicate a thing to the Most High. And you become responsible instantly when you do that. And so when you get to if you were to get to the place where you decide that you're going to back out, you can't just have a clean back out.
Yeah.
You got to pay.
Yeah. Payout. Yeah.
Right?
It's a payout.
It's a payout.
Yeah.
I can't just say, well, I got this land over here and I'm going to dedicate this to the Most High. As soon as you say that, there's a price that's accorded that goes along with it, depending on where it's at inside of the Jubilee 50 years or whatever. The value of that land, becomes noted. Right? And then when you decide now that maybe I should have never said that, we're not going to be able to, okay, so that's fine, but now we got to take care of this thing that you owe over here.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Right? And so we'll not to get too much into the idea of vows, because we'll there's a more in-depth thing about vows in general in the next book, in the book of Numbers, but the thought here is that there is a great price and a strong connection that's made to a person, place, or thing that's dedicated to the Most High. Hold on, what's this over here? That's somebody's over here. Is this the value of a vow? Well, yes. These particular vows, as I was saying, are vows that are connected to sacrifices or offerings unto the tabernacle, right? And so they are and so there is a value that's like you said it to a degree, kind of, right? But I'm saying that as soon as a vow is made, right? As soon as that vow is made, there's now been this promise. You've entered into contract. Okay? You've entered into contract when you opened up your mouth. Mm-hmm. Right? And so now you're going to be held accountable. You're going to be held accountable for the words that come out of your mouth, and to back out, you got to pay. Right? And so the payment is you fulfilling the thing that you spoke. Right? Maybe you can't give the actual thing that you said you was going to give, but you're going to give a like equivalent in money. Right? And so when you think about it, you've created this this contract with your mouth that must be taken care of. Like this contract must be fulfilled. Right? And so if you're not going to physically do the thing, there's going to be an acceptable replacement that's received by the priest from you to rectify you backing out of this thing. Okay? And so, looking at this, really, I just began to really think about this idea of the fact that, this. Well, let's go back. Let's go back for a minute, because when we look at verse 2. Verse 2 in this version here says, when a man separates a vow. Let's look at this in the King James. It says, a man shall make a singular vow. And even that's kind of obscure, just, singular. You think about one. But it's not really giving us that word there. Separate, distinguish. If we get down, right, great, difficult, wonderful, accomplish, arise to, hard hitting things, too high, marvelous, miraculous. And so these words kind of strengthen the value of the vow, the words that you have spoken. And so when we think about this word here, this palah word in the Hebrew, is really giving you the context, the idea of something that it's difficult. It's hard. It's hard in the fact that it's something that you've just simple fact that it is a vow, right? It's a contract. It's a thing it's not just like some empty words, right? There's weight that's associated with it, right? And so again, these are things that you've said in regards to the Most High. These are things that you said you're going to do, or things that you're going to offer unto the Most High, or things that you're going to dedicate to the Almighty, right? This is a serious thing. It's not just some vain speech, like I'm about to go down here and get this or that, right? You said that you're going to do this or that for the Most High. And so once you've done that, and for all intents and purposes, you've created a contract with your mouth. So you've made this thing really, you've turned your words into this difficult vow. Difficult in terms of difficult to get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's not these are serious things that are going on over here. And so it made me really think about, here I found this definition over here. It says a singular vow. A vow is this promise made to Elohim, for the most part with prayer and paid with thanksgiving. Vows were either of abstinence or devoting to something to Yahweh, or sacrifices. It deals with the value. The value deals with the value of the persons or the beasts or the houses or the land. A man might vow or devote himself, his children, his domestics, his cattle, his good, etc. And respecting the redemption of all these, rules are laid down in this chapter like we just read. But if after consecrating these things he refused to redeem them, they then became the master's property forever. And so we talked about the fact that there's a price that they had to pay. That's the redemption thing. But now if you back out and you don't pay the price, that thing now belongs to the priest and the service of the Most High. So for all intents and purposes now, when you dedicate a thing to holiness, it belongs to holiness. And then now, in order to have it back, it's almost as if you got to buy it back. You've already given it over when you spoke it out, and now the only way to get it back is to pay money, basically. Right? You've out of your mouth sold your whatever, yourself, your service, your house, your land, because you spoke it. Now you've given it to the Most High.
It's a verbal contract.
It's a verbal contract, and it's done.
Yeah.
And so, in order to now not do what you said you was going to do with it, now you have to, like it says, either pay the money or relinquish the thing. And so I was really just thinking about this idea that in terms of this difficult vow, this idea of making these promises to the Most High, we do this whenever we say we're going to follow after the Most High. We say that we're going to give our life unto the Almighty. So we speak this contract into existence. But how we able to? We can't walk away because how do we pay? How do you pay?
You mean now?
Yeah.
Oh.
How do you pay? Because you owe. You owe. You do owe. You say to yourself, I'm going to dedicate myself to the Most High. But if you back out and you don't pay, there's consequences.
Give it your life.
I mean.
That's all we got.
Let's look at some things over here. Let's look over at Proverbs. Proverbs 20 and 25. Okay, what's that 25th verse right there?
Verse 25, it says, "It is a snare for a man to say rashly, it is set apart, and only later to reconsider his vows."
Okay, very good. It's a snare, it says, for a man to. You can't just, if you gonna sit up here and dedicate a thing yourself or whatever to holiness and later reconsider, you done set a trap for yourself. And you falling right into the trap. Right? He says a snare for a man to rashly. What's that word mean? Rashly. A snare for a man who devours that which is holy, and after, what's this word here? To blurt, utter inconsiderably. You didn't think about it. Devour, that's interesting. A man who devoureth that which is holy. Some, I remember, sometimes my grandfather would talk about, people, eating food like super fast, right? And he would ask you the question like, did you even taste it?
Yeah.
Right? It just went in your mouth and you just swallowed it.
Yeah.
Right? You devoured it. Right? Instead of actually considering the food, tasting the flavors and understanding, the different components of the meal. Right? You just put it in your mouth and you swallowed it.
Right.
Right? There's no consideration involved. You didn't think about it. It's just you just swallowed it down. Right? But this is dealing with you speaking things. Right? You not even thinking about the things that's coming out of your mouth. They just coming out. There's no consideration. Right? You just saying. Right? You just making vows. Not understanding that you're making a contract. When you speak, when you say I'm doing this and I'm doing that, and again we're talking about vows, so we're talking about a dedication to holiness. I'll give you my life, Master, Father. I remember when I was in wickedness, I made all kinds of vows to the toilet bowl God. I'll never drink like this again. I'll never drink like this again. But I'm only saying that because I'm vomiting my guts out.
Yeah.
Right? It's the pain and the anguish that I'm going through that's causing me to speak.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking about what I'm saying. It's just the moment.
Right.
I'm not really considering my words.
Yeah.
I'm just reacting to the moment that I'm in.
Right.
That's a snare. I'm setting a trap for myself every time I speak out of the moment. When I'm just speaking out of the things that's happening to me, I'm going to say whatever makes sense in relation to the moment. But it don't have nothing to do with, the big picture of things.
Yeah.
Right? If there's some heavy thing done fell on me, I'll do anything if I could just get this off of me. I'm not really thinking rationally. I just want the thing off of me. Mm-hmm. Right? I'm responding to the moment. But this scripture is over here saying that when I'm responding to the moment, when I'm saying things rashly, I'm setting a snare for myself. I'm setting a trap that I'm going to be something bad is going to happen to me as a result of these rash words that I'm speaking. And so when we look at Proverbs 20:25 in relation to what we're talking about over here, this idea of promising a person, place, or thing to holiness, again, once that's done, it's set in stone.
Yeah. If it may be your yay, it may be your nay.
That's what he said. That's what he said. That's what he said.
Can't play with your words.
Your words are so important.
Yeah.
They're so important.
It ain't no joke.
And we sit up here and we act like well, I said it, but there ain't nothing in writing. You know what I mean? I mean that's what I said, but I didn't mean it like that.
Yeah.
Right. I was just playing around. The Most High don't operate like that, especially in regards to things that are about His purposes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ecclesiastes. Let's go to Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes 5. Ecclesiastes 5. 3 through 5.
It says, "For a dream comes through thee greatness of the task, and a fool's voice is known by his many words. When you make a vow to Elohim, do not delay to pay it, for he takes no pleasure in fools. Pay that which you have vowed. It is better not to vow than to vow and not pay.
Yes, very good. So we see over here, foolish people got all types of things to say, and they talking, and they you know, they're just saying things.
Yeah.
But the Most High said He takes no pleasure in fools. He take no pleasure in that one who has these many words.
Yeah.
Right? Because these many words that you saying, there's great importance to these things that you're saying.
Exactly.
He said, for he take it's better not to vow than to vow and not pay. It's interesting when we look at this thing, this idea of vowing. It's not like the Most High gives us commandments to make these promises that we make to the Most High. Right? He gives us boundaries because He knows that we'll do it. But it's not as if like He tell us don't lie, don't kill. This the way I want to be worshipped. You know, don't commit adultery. But this idea of vows over here, these are things that we do, and He's telling us, you know, how we could go about doing it. There's no command to give a free will offering, because that's really what this is dealing with. You deciding to freely give something to the Most High, right? But if you decide that you're going to do that now, you done locked yourself into it. Okay, and so what we again now thinking about this from a now perspective, you know, each and every one of us has dedicated ourselves unto holiness. Right? We said that we were going to give our complete whole self to Yeshua. We made a vow and said that we was going to give the sacrifice of our life to the Most High. And unless you pay the fee, you can't get out. There's a contract on you.
Yeah.
There's a contract on you, and you don't got the payment to get out. And if you had it, who you gonna give it to? Who you gonna give it to? You can't give it to me. I can't do nothing with it.
Yeah.
Who you gonna give it to? I'm saying that you can't pay what's owed, but if you could pay, I don't know who you give it to. But the contract has been sealed. You said what you was going to do. You said who you was going to serve. You said the sacrifice that you was going to be, that you was going to give to the Most High. When you said that, you entered into a vow. You can't repurpose what belongs to the Most High. The Most High and you made a deal. You made a deal with the Most High and said, I will serve you. So now you can be anything else other than a servant of the Most High,
Mm-hmm.
or else you in breach of contract, right?
Mm-hmm.
You in breach of contract.
Yeah.
We're not able to present something. This is what we see over here in Leviticus. We're not able to present something to the Most High and then later decide that we don't want to follow through and not be responsible for the consequences of that thing. Right? Because again, what we see in Leviticus is that when you say it, you've entered into contract, and at that point, the payment that you're paying is you got to buy the thing back. When you said what you was going to do with that thing, offering it up unto the service of the Most High, you essentially was giving that thing away, basically. And the only way that you can hold that, if you hold it, you're stealing.
Yeah, you already said.
The transaction was made when you opened your mouth.
Yeah.
So if you hold it, you're stealing. And the only way to hold it is to pay for it.
Yeah.
Which seems kind of is weird, right? Because but in the eyes of the Torah, a transaction was made when you said, "I'm going to give myself over to the Most High. I'm going to give this thing over to the Most High."
Yeah.
And so the only way that you're able to continue to possess that thing is to buy it. Even though, the way we think about things, it's already mine. But you gave it away whenever you spoke it out of your mouth. And so I'm saying that when we think about the idea of saying that Yeshua is our master, and we're going to follow after our master Yeshua, how do we back out of it? You got to pay a price, because he bought you already. You've been bought with a price. So how do you get out?
You die.
You die. But I had an aunt. She passed away. she when you talked to her about divorce, she said, "We don't divorce. We die."
There you go. It's the only way out.
That contract. that contract is forever.
The death do you part.
She said, "We die." That's what she said.
That's what my wife said to me. And then she said, "Let's get a divorce."
But
So wait, you shouldn't be saying that in vows then. They shouldn't death do us part.
people do be saying it, yeah.
That's part of the
Because you
traditional vows that they be saying.
We don't put no value on words.
And then you look, the divorce rate is out of control. But they said them words. They should be dead then. It's a lot of... Not bad, go ahead.
We made a contract with Messiah when we said we are going to follow after you. But when we think about these verses that we looked at, we really should, the things that we say, we have to get to the place where we're thinking about the words before they come out of our mouth.
Amen. Yeah.
Because you making these promises, you locking yourself in.
Yes.
Let's look at some of these things over here. Because we're talking about these difficult vows. Difficult vows. But a vow nonetheless. Let's see here. Luke. Let's go to Luke 9. I want to look at Luke 9:57 through 62. Luke 9. $57. Let's see here. Let's just look at real quick. Just 57.
And it came to be as they journeyed on the way that someone said to him, Master, I shall follow you wherever you go.
He just vowed. Right there.
He said, yeah, I'll show.
He just came with Yeshua. Wherever you go, that's where I'm going. But is he really going to do that?
You never, I don't know.
I hope so, because he just said he was going to do it.
Because if you go somewhere else, you can look and say, what you doing? Where you going? Because he's over there. He's going that way.
Yeah.
So what you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that just came out of his mouth. Unless this was like hyperbole. Does the Most High want hyperbole in regards to service unto him? I'll follow you wherever you go, he said, Master. First of all, he said, Master.
Yeah, I was going to say that, Master.
Before he even get anywhere else, he said to him, Master. You're my master. You're my king. You're my sovereign ruler.
I mean, I got to believe until we show otherwise. I mean, but yeah.
I mean, that's what he said. When we go back and look at Leviticus chapter 27, it's dealing with you making these proclamations in relation to holiness. So if he's speaking to Yeshua and the first thing out of his mouth is Master, I hope that's his master, and that's the way that he's going to deal with him thus far, from this point forward.
This is cutting me. This is cutting me. Because speaking of that last situation I just spoke about, it just was brought to my mind just now. The last person I dated before I got married, it ended. And I said to the Most High, I said, it's me and you. I was like, I'm done with this. I was like, it's me and you.
Oh, you mean after the person?
After that, I broke up with this girl. I said, I'm done.
Yeah.
I said, it's me and you. Right?
Yeah.
Then I met this girl who I didn't want to meet. And she said, till death do us part. And just like I cut out on that thing when I said, it's me and you. And then I got with somebody else and married him, and it wasn't me and him. And then she said, till death do us part, and did the same thing. And I know the Most High is like, yeah, how does it feel?
Interesting. And so I'm saying that the scripture helps us to see that we need to pay close attention to the things that we're saying.
Yeah.
I mean, but this man here made a vow. Just right on the spot. I'll follow you wherever you go.
Yeah.
And so now you've been made responsible for the things that you have said. Now, what you talking about? I mean, and you know, there could probably everybody sitting over here could sit up here and probably think back about something that you vowed, and then you didn't keep it, and you paid. to one degree or another. He paid. And so when we think about making a vow unto Yeshua, we really have to think about what that entails. Because, again, we think back to Leviticus, it's laid out. We could know what the price is, when we go into these contracts. But Yeshua, he makes these. He does the same thing. He lets it be known what the price is when you enter into contract with him. When you say that you want him to be your master. When you say that you will follow him wherever he goes. He tells you what the price is. Let's see what the price is. Just like we look in Leviticus, we could know what the price is of the words that we speak. If we go to, let's see, Matthew 16, 24 through 26. We're going to go back to Luke. Let's look over here. We're trying to figure out what the price is. What do it cost to follow Yeshua wherever he goes?
So then Yeshua said to his taught ones, if anyone wishes to come after me, let him deny himself and take up his stake and follow me.
25 and 26.
Oh, 26, okay. For whoever wishes to save his life shall lose it, and whoever loses his life for my sake shall find it. For what is a man profited if he gains all the world and loses his own life? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his life?
So Yeshua said over here, if you want to follow after me, deny yourself. That's one of the things that it costs in order to follow after Yeshua, is to deny yourself. Not only to deny yourself, it says to take up his stake. Right? When Yeshua, that stake, that's death right there.
That's pain.
That's pain. That's anguish. It's heartache. Heartbreak. It's all of those things. It's destruction. His body was literally destroyed by that stake. Sacrifice.
Yeah.
All of those things are included. That's the price that comes with following after Yeshua. I mean, uncomfortableness is an understatement over here.
Wait a minute, though.
It's an understatement. Go ahead.
Wait a minute. You mean to tell me what the preacher's been telling me, that, if you ain't blessed, if you don't have a Mercedes, if you don't got a mansion, if you ain't living high on the hog that they eat, then something ain't right. You mean that's wrong?
I mean, I'm saying that you could have all those things.
Hold on, you telling me Joe Osteen going through all this pain? What kind of pain is Joe Osteen going through?
I'm saying you could have all of those things, right? But if you ain't never had the pain and the anguish and the heartache and the destruction, if you never had that, then I feel like somebody else is giving you that. You ain't following after the both side of that. If you got all of those things that them people say that you supposed to have, and you didn't never have the results of the stake, because you supposed to be carrying the stake. Sacrifice. If there ain't no sacrifice, if you didn't give up nothing,
Self-denial.
what did you lose?
Yeah.
What did you lose? Deny yourself. Deny yourself unto the point of death. Death to all the things that you and your flesh wants to do, and follow me. Death to all of the comfortableness that you think you're supposed to be enjoying, and follow me. He said, you got to lose your life. What shall a man give in exchange for his life? What else could you get? There's nothing else for you to get. Lose your whole life.
25 sticks out to me too, because for whosoever wishes to save his life shall lose it. Whoever loses his life for my sake shall find it. Now there's a lot of people losing their lives.
Wow.
For mammon, for all kind of crazy stuff. People are losing their lives. But it's not for his sake.
No. That said right there, whoever loses his life for my sake shall find it. But so that means if you don't lose your life for his sake, then you will never find it.
It's in vain. And yes.
Yeah, you'll never find it.
Never find it.
Life makes sense. So I decided to follow.
That's the only way it makes sense.
But you can't. I mean, to us though.
I mean,
because it don't make sense. No, it don't make sense. No other way. But it's like
exactly.
it's just crazy. There's so few people that see that though. That can get
there's
that.
so few people that think that they have experienced life, but meanwhile, they have not experienced life. Because it said, "Whoever loses his life for my sake shall find it." So that means that you can't have life outside of losing it for his sake.
Yeah,
that's what it says. You can't have life unless you deny yourself and take up your stake and follow after him. That thing that you're experiencing, I'm not sure what that is. But it's not life. Well, it's death.
Delusion.
It's death. I'm sure what it is. It's death.
Yeah, you did on the inside because you ain't living for real.
You did.
And on the outside, dude. They did on the outside.
I mean, when you're born, the clock is the end.
Yeah.
As soon as you come out, you're dying.
But people's clocks ain't supposed to be stopping at 16 years old.
I mean, that's true.
15 years old, and
that's true. I mean, we do have a lot of adverse effects going on of wickedness running rampant. But I'm just saying, and generally speaking, once you're born, your body is dying.
Right. The countdown.
The countdown started. Your heartbeat got what it got.
Yeah.
You can lessen it. You can lessen the number of beats that you get, but you probably can lengthen the amount that you get.
Or this analogy, like you got a full tank when you're born, right?
Yeah.
And it's gonna get you where you're supposed to go. But if you start going all these other weird places that you ain't supposed to be going,
yeah,
your gas is gonna run out fast.
What they say, living in the fast lane. You go in the fast lane, you gonna burn more gas.
Right.
Or you'll crash.
Or you'll crash.
Right.
All that. All that. So when we sit up here and say, like we do say, Master Yeshua, I'll follow you wherever you go, just know that you now vowed and you sold yourself to holiness.
Your life ain't your own no more.
You sold yourself to holiness. Your life is not your own no more when you said that.
It ain't about what I want to do, what you like. Oh, no, I want to go. What?
Yeah. And so this over here is a concept that we have to be able to understand, that we see in Torah. That you sit up here and vow yourself to holiness. When you do that, you basically sold yourself to the priest. The priest owed you until you redeem yourself back. And if you don't redeem yourself back, then you're owned by the priest. And so when we think about this again from our perspective now, when we say that master, I'll follow you wherever you go, you know, we've promised ourselves to Messiah, and our life now must reflect the thing that we said we was going to do. We made a difficult vow whenever we decided to follow after Messiah. It was a difficult vow. We should have known that we was going to have to deny ourselves. We should have known that we was going to have to carry this torturous thing. But just because of the fact that it's a difficult vow, it don't make it an impossible one to accomplish. It's an accomplishable vow, but it's difficult and it's significant. Let's look at Galatians. Galatians 2 and 20. What does that say?
It says, I have been impelled with Messiah, and I no longer live, but Messiah lived in me, and that which I now live in the flesh, I live by belief in the Son of Elohim, who loved me and gave himself for me.
I mean, think about Messiah the man saying, this task that is before me is too hard. I'm not going to do it. The repercussions that would follow as a result of Messiah, of Yeshua saying, it's too hard. I'm not going to do this. I can't. When we say that we're going to follow Yeshua, we're saying that we're able to look at that thing that we're facing in our situation and do it even though it's hard. Because that's what he did before us. He looked at death and said, that's what got to be done. He looked at the separation from the Most High that was going to be created as a result of sin, your and my sin. He looked at that hard thing and said, this is going to be hard, but I'm going to do it. And so we sit up here and look at our little things that we got. and we going against the words that we spoke about what? If it ain't unto death, then what you talking about? Huh? What you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Yeshua sat up there bound to the Most High, joined with the Most High, and he was facing, for your and my sake, a period of separation. And he said, I'll do it. I wish somebody else could do it, but can't nobody else do it, so it's going to be me. I'm going to do it. And he did it. And then we sit up here with our little things that we go through that aren't unto death, and we say, man, this is just too hard. I can't do it. But the problem is that you done already made a promise. You done already promised. You locked in to the contract. And you can't get out. You're no longer your own. You've been bought with a price. You don't have the ability to just do whatever you want to do. You could do what the master say do. The master, Yeshua. Paul said, I have been impaled with Messiah. He doing the work. I no longer live, but Messiah lives in me. It's not about you and whatever your thing is. It's about Messiah in you. When we live a life that's according to what Messiah will have for us to be doing, it may be difficult, but you still got to do it, because he did it unto death. Your thing ain't nothing. I'm just gonna say your thing ain't nothing if it ain't unto death. And most times it's not unto death. It's unto hardship. Mm-hmm. It's unto the worst thing that you've ever experienced in your whole life. But you can do it. And the thing that Messiah is asking of you, no matter what it is, it's always going to be less than what he did, because the thing that's hard in your life is not separating you from the Most High. Whatever thing that you could be going through, as you go through it, is bringing you closer to the Most High. The thing that he did, Yeshua, not only was it unto death, but it was causing a type of separation from the Almighty, the place from which he came. So there's never going to be any comparison that we can make to the sacrifice that Yeshua made for us. And we can't just make these sacrifices in our life when we're supposed to be a living sacrifice, a continual sacrifice. When we're supposed to be someone that has dedicated themselves unto Messiah. He said over here, let me look at this in the King James, verse 20. He said, I live by faith of the Son of Elohim. In the Greek, that word right there is pistis. Persuasion. Conviction. If I've been persuaded of a thing, you can't tell me otherwise. That's the definition of being persuaded.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. If I'm persuaded of a thing, if I've been convinced of a thing, I can't turn around from it.
Yeah. That's
just what it is. There's no other reality outside of this thing that I've been persuaded in. Over here we talking about being persuaded in the Son of Elohim.
Yeah. What did you click on?
Faith in the Greek.
Faith, okay.
Pistis.
Yeah.
I live by faith in the Son of Elohim. I live by the fact that I've been convinced in Yeshua. And when we say that, that's manifest in the way that we do things.
Yeah, where you live.
The way you live your life.
My thing is when you convinced, like you got faith, when you like to know basically. For me, it's like it becomes easy. I mean, I don't know how, it's the truth should be easy. Especially when you know. Like when you convinced, it's like, oh, well, just do that. I ain't gonna do this. I'm gonna do
because there's no other choice. If I have to live my life according to the way that the Most High has for me to live it, even though it's hard, there's not another way. I don't have an alternative. Yeah. I got to get up every morning and go to work. If I don't, there's not going to be no money in my account. I'm convinced. I'm convinced that I got to go to work and make money.
Yeah.
Maybe not go to work. I'm convinced that I have to do something in order to make money.
Right.
And so therefore, because of this conviction that I have, it don't matter if I don't want to get up. I still got to get up.
You do it.
Because if I don't, there's not going to be any food in the house. There's not going to be a house.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Right? And so I live my life according to the things that I'm persuaded of. And so I know that Yeshua is my master. And I know that he would have for me to live a certain kind of a way. And because I know this, I can't do it no other way. I don't even have options. I don't have an option to not do it.
So, buddy, it's like people who turn the other way, or I'm like, what? My thing is they didn't know anyway.
You couldn't have known.
Yeah, because it don't make sense. It's like
you couldn't have known. You're right. It doesn't make sense.
I can see how you could like sometimes you like deliberately do the. I know I ain't supposed to eat too many brownies or something, but these brownies is good, and because I'm trying to get it to a point where, how you know something is wrong and you still do it.
Yeah, but do you?
I guess the consequence ain't that. They don't think the consequence is that great.
It's too far away. We're just like babies. It's too far away. The consequence, if Moshe cut up right now, and then I beat him tonight, there's no connection to what he did and the consequence.
Right. Okay.
It got to be like that, or it don't mean nothing.
It's true. Yeah.
It got to be right now, and it's like that with us. We sit up here and we do these things and we take for granted. Ain't nothing gonna happen right now. I might eat this extra brownie and maybe I'll get diabetes. But it's like I still got time. Like,
I don't even think like that. That's now you.
I'm just saying.
Now you crazy.
I'm just saying. Like,
I think a lot of people look at other people who are doing the same things, and they be like, "Well, nothing's happening to them."
Yeah.
No, I got one. Cigarettes. They say it on the pack to give you cancer.
Yeah.
It says it on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna still do it. Now that right there.
I mean,
how you explain that?
Yeah, I asked people that was on the job site and smoking a cigarette. I said, the first time you smoked a cigarette, were you like, this is great?
Yeah.
I'm gonna smoke this for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
They said, nah, man, it was horrible. I said, well,
why'd you
keep on doing
it again?
Yeah.
Because it was cool. Everybody else, it was the cool thing to do.
It makes absolutely zero sense whatsoever. Zero sense what. It's not something that is. I mean, I guess to a degree it could get to the place where it's a pleasurable thing. But I don't care who you are. It didn't start out like that. You cough your lungs out.
Yeah.
because it don't belong. Smoke don't belong in there.
Right.
It don't go in there. It's not built for that.
No.
And so but so many times we do these things, and again, we talked about the fact that the idea of being able to experience life comes with you following after the giver of life.
Right.
And outside of that, you're experiencing something that's not that. And so, there's so many things that we sit up here and that we do that doesn't make any sense. but at the end of the day, we have to be able to be connected to the source of life if we want to ever get to the place of experiencing life. And also, when we are indeed truly connected to Messiah, you can tell that you're connected to Messiah.
Right. Yeah, you can tell.
Because there's a way that you're supposed to be,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's the other way.
Mm-hmm.
That leads to death.
It's a broad way,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and that it's a narrow. It says a narrow path, right?
It's a narrow, straight.
And you can see that narrow path when you walk in it. You can see somebody else walking it, or trying to at least get close to it or on it.
Yeah.
In that broad way, it's easier to pick up. Like, yeah, that person.
There's many different ways on the broad way.
That person over here.
But if it's a narrow way, maybe it's a narrow way, and there's like a bunch of these little rocks and things and there's little things in between the rocks, and you gotta go from this one to that one to this one to that one in order to even make it down this little narrow way. Like, there's only one way to do it.
Yeah.
You can't do it multiple ways like this, like the broad way. You could go all types of zigzaggy ways, backwards, frontwards, whatever, on that road. But this road is specific. It goes in a particular way.
And that's why he said, follow me. Because he showed you the way.
He showed you
Lead the way.
He is the way.
Right.
He's the way.
Right.
He's the door. He's the way you get in. He showed you the way, and he did it before you, and he's showing you. He's like, come on, it's this way. You don't even gotta try to figure it out.
Yeah.
He's holding your hand as you walking down there. When you falling down, he's picking you back up again. He said, follow me. It's a difficult way, but it's the only way. But you got to be convinced of that in order to do it. If I know that when I go down this road, if I'm convinced that this is the right road, there's nothing that's going to cause me to turn around and go on a different road. Because I know this is the right way to go. I know it's the right way to go.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason to try to look to find some other way to go. And so that's what faith is, though. That's what faith is. Faith is that steadfastness. Faith is that firmness that regardless of the difficulty level of the task got to get done. That's faith. And so that's something that we, it says over here, we look over here, he said, I live by faith. Without faith, it's impossible to please Elohim. That's what it says in another place. Without steadfastness, it's impossible to please Elohim. Steadfastness in Him. Without being convinced that in Him it's impossible to please Elohim. You can't please Elohim if you're not convinced in him.
Come sit down. Oh, come here.
All right, let's look at some other things over there. Oh, we could still look at the Galatians over there. We still talk about following after Messiah and understanding the vow that we took to follow after Messiah in the first place. 5:24. Let's see if I can find my cursor.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, you drop out?
Yeah.
With the whole stream?
No, just the
Share screen.
You gonna be good? You better be good. Don't lose yourself.
Okay, 1 second here. Technical difficulties. What's going on? Alright, hold on 1 second. Let me experience some difficulties here. Okay, here we go. Okay, 1 second. Alright. Back on track. Okay, Galatians 5:24. And 24. Okay, go ahead.
And those who are of Messiah have impelled the flesh with its passions and the desires.
Okay, very good. So, when we follow after Messiah, we kill the flesh with its passions and its desires. Thinking about the fact that our self, our soul, basically is made up of our passions and our desires. And we have to get to the place where we've realigned our passions and desires to the things that the Most High can be pleased with. Okay, because of the fact that we said we was gonna follow after Messiah, because we've been bought by the death of Messiah and accepting His blood sacrifice, because we said what we was gonna do, and now it's time for us to make do on the promise that we made. Okay, let's go back to Luke, where we was at, Luke chapter 9, because we're still talking about this whole thing with these vows. Okay, go back to Luke 9. Luke 9, verse 58. Yeah, 58.
Yeshua said to him, the foxes have holes and the birds of the heaven nests, but the son of Adam has nowhere to lay his head.
Okay, very good. So we see The guy over here said, I'll follow you wherever you go. And then Yeshua is like, you sure about that? All right. You think this life is easy? Right? He try to get them together first. Like, you sure you know what you getting yourself into? These animals out here, they got their little things that they, birds got their nests and foxes, they got their dens, but I'm just a sojourner out here. I don't have any place to even lay my head at. You sure that's what you want? You want to get yourself into? You let them know this is not an easy road. It's not a popular road, I should say. Which, from a particular perspective, could say that it's not an easy road.
He said he was gonna sleep at that night.
Yeah, and you won't follow me. You got this. You probably got a nice little place over there, down there, with a nice little bed and everything else, and you won't follow after me. It's hard, and it's seemingly unnatural. I'm saying seemingly unnatural, right? Because again, we don't know what life is till we come to Yeshua. But since some of us lived a whole life before we even experienced life, the transition is seemingly unnatural. But you've made a promise unto the master, and so therefore you owe. If it means anything to be indebted to the master, maybe it don't even mean nothing to you to be indebted to the master. Maybe that's like, it doesn't really, it's whatever. But if it means anything to you to be indebted to the master, you should want to be able to fulfill the promise that you've made. Understanding that is difficult, but still willing to move forward. Right? Let's see, 59.
And he said too, another follow me, but he said, Master, let me go first and bury my father. Keep going.
60, yeah.
And Yeshua said to him, let the dead bury their own dead, but you go and announce the reign of Elohim.
Okay, so the fact that there's real things going on don't change the fact that the kingdom of Elohim is at hand. People live and people die. And, it's a real thing to experience death. Like, that's, those things really happen. This person really got some, formidable issues going on in his life. Yeshua said, let the dead bury the dead. You announce the kingdom of Elohim. That's what you do. He basically said it don't matter what your situation is if it don't got nothing to do with the kingdom. That's what Yeshua said to them.
The dude said that was just bury my father. He said, let the dead bury the dead. Don't worry about your father.
Your father.
He said, okay. He said, like put.
He basically said your father's dead, and the people who gonna bury him is dead. Now, if you go bury him, you gonna be like
with the dead. He said, now you go live
I'm saying that if this man don't have real problems, I don't know what real problems are. But Messiah said, don't worry about that. You worry about the kingdom. That's what you worry about. How many times do we sit up here and put the Most High's program on the back burner because of our real life problems? That's a real life issue right there. My father has died and he gotta get buried. That's a real life issue. Yeshua said, you announce the kingdom of Elohim. Let the dead worry about the dead. The fact that you have real things going on, real life things going on, doesn't change the fact that the kingdom of Elohim is at hand. If you at any time in your life call Yeshua your master, your Lord, your King, then your life needs to be about the kingdom primarily. And these other things are circumstantial. Like, this is not nothing over here. This is an actual thing. Like, I got to bury my father. Like, that's not just like I got this appointment that I made. Like, it's a real thing. And Yeshua said to him, you announce the kingdom of Elohim. When we say that he is our master, we really have to prioritize our life according to the service of the kingdom first.
Now let's fast forward this to modern day people and thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Was he being mean or was he being nice with that statement? With this statement?
Well,
because people,
I wouldn't say mean or nice. I would say it's harsh. I would say that it's harsh and it's blunt. I would say.
Yeah.
But I think at the same time, it's showing you the importance and the weightiness of the service of the Most High.
Right. How serious it is.
And so, the problem is that if you not focus on Messiah and the kingdom, you're going to be in your feelings and emotion.
Right.
But this thing ain't about emotions.
No.
This thing ain't about feelings.
No.
It's not reactionary. It's not about I'm not able to service the Most High because this thing happened to me. Because I got to do this, and that. And he's trying to tell this man over here that if what you're saying, no matter what it is, don't got nothing to do with the pronouncement of the reign of Elohim, then it's not worth anything. It's worthless. So
he ain't lenient.
He's not being he's not being lenient over here. No, he's being very blunt. He's being very to the point.
Well, see, you say that to people today, they grab their heart.
You right.
They can't handle it. Like, and we read this out the book.
I don't know if this person was able to handle it. but you see the way that Yeshua dealt with people sometimes was able to weed people out. Because if you want to do what the Most High wants for you to be doing, you're going to do it no matter what.
And this is how I can tell people who's serious and ain't.
That's how you know.
I can, like, when people
if
come
this
to the faith, and I'd be like, this person. They be around, you like, but they ain't for real.
yeah.
Cause this is hardcore.
It is
When
hardcore.
this is hardcore.
They ain't about that life.
And yeah,
is
I can
hardcore.
tell
It is
who can endure this and really push through and level up in it.
Because we have to know that this life is intentional. You have to say and be persuaded and committed in this life to say that I'm moving in the way that he wants for me to move, and I can't move to the left or to the right.
Mm-hmm.
And it don't matter what things get in my way. I'm still going to do what he has for me to be doing, no matter what. And this is the epitome of that.
Yeah.
Because we can't sit up there and act like this ain't a real issue that he's facing.
Right.
But that real issue is not more important than the kingdom of Elohim.
It's not.
And so we had to get to the place where we understand that the kingdom is number one.
And it's not you. Well, I mean, we're talking about it not being you. But it's not about you.
It's not about you.
And people make it about themselves.
Mhm.
Putting feelings and emotions
They
behind
don't
different
belong there.
things.
Feelings and emotions.
It's not
don't belong
about
there.
you.
Mm-mm.
It's like, exactly.
Feelings and emotions are not real. They could be swayed.
Right.
Feelings and emotions.
Right.
Oh, baby. Oh, baby. You know what I mean? Feelings and emotions is nothing.
Right.
Like, this is real. This is substantial. Right? When we understand the love of Elohim, it's about I'm going to live his way. It don't matter what gets in the middle. That's just an obstacle. I got to get over it. I got to get around it. I got to go through it. But it can't stop me though. It's just an obstacle. I can't change my whole life about an obstacle. I got to figure out how to get where I'm going.
Yeah.
And so over here, he had this obstacle, which was this real life problem. So, he got to figure out how he supposed to announce the kingdom of Elohim first. And then he could worry about whatever else later. And we got to really get to that place to know that we made a promise to the Most High. We made a promise to Yeshua. We said that he was our master. We said that he was our sovereign ruler. And so therefore, when these things happen in our life, these things then come, they can't change the fact that Yeshua is master. That never changes. That's just an obstacle in the road. So what you gonna do? You gonna build up to ramming speed and go through the obstacle, or go around it, or dig a hole and go under it? But you got to be moving forward, no matter what, because you don't belong to yourself, because you let them words sneak up from behind your teeth that time and say that Yeshua was your master, and the Most High don't take to these idle words. He don't take to them too kindly. The Most High don't. Okay, so we have to understand that we have indeed been bought with a price, and we owe our life to Yeshua, and so we can't be out here living this life that changes with the weather. We got to be steadfast and firm in righteousness, because our master is Yeshua. Read for us, let's see here, 61 and 62.
It says, another also said, Master, I shall follow you, but let me first say goodbye to those in my house. And Yeshua said to him, no one having put his hand to the plow and looking back is fit for the reign of Elohim.
I'll follow you, but let me take care of these loose ends I got over here real quick. I know that this is the right way to go, but I got these 5 things that I got to take care of in my life that I want to be able to experience before I could go ahead and do this thing all the way. You ever see somebody who got this whole plan that, like, you know, I know that I'm supposed to get right, but, you know, I got this XYZ thing situation over here that I got to deal with, and I'm going to do that, and then I'll come over here and
all the time people say that.
I had a guy tell me just yesterday, day before yesterday. He's like, yeah, man, you know, he's like, I might go back to ministry if, you know, he called me to come back. He's like, but I really don't want to. He's like, but if he called me, you know, I gotta go. And I was like,
What, on his cell phone about to get a call?
I'm like, you've been called. Like, what are you talking about if he called you back? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm off right now. I'm off right now. But if he called me to come back, you know,
you got
I'll
laid
go.
off.
Yeah.
He said I wanted to be him. You know what I mean? Not me.
Interesting.
I'm like, where does this concept come from?
I don't know, because over here he said, no one having put his hand to the plow and looking back
Yeah.
is fit for the reign of Elohim.
Well, he looked back, so he ain't fit. He ain't fit for it.
Yeah. That's why I didn't even say nothing. Like, I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm like, you ain't gonna get that call? Like, what are you talking about? You it's like you got this on and off switch.
Ain't no on and off.
Like I'm on vacation right now.
Ain't no layoffs. Ain't none of that. This thing is about faith, which is about steadfastness. And let me just say, it's not about perfection. It's about moving forward.
Yeah.
You know, I'm trying to move forward. I'm gonna fall, but I'm getting up though. I'm getting up and I'm still walking forward. I'm getting knocked down by these obstacles that are in my way, but I'm working my way through and around and above and beneath these obstacles, moving forward.
Yeah. Following.
I'm not looking back. And it's an interesting thing that he's saying over, talking about having your hand to the plow. If I'm sitting here, I'm basically steering myself, you know, as I'm going. I'm steering this plow thing as I'm going. So if I'm turning my head, I did this. Oh my goodness, I did this the other day. I'm driving, and my wonderful wife makes me these breakfast sandwiches in the morning. So, you know, I finish up with my prayer by the time I get to the parkway as I'm driving, and so then I eat. So I turn my body for some reason when I'm just going side, you know, right beside me to pick up my sandwich. But as I do that, I'm looking. But as I do that, I'm moving into the other lane. And the person's behind me, beep! And I'm oh, wait a second. But because I took my focus off of where I was going, my focus turned just over so slightly to the sandwich, it caused me the whole vehicle to merge.
Turn towards the sandwich.
Mm-hmm. Right, I got off track because I lost focus on the road.
Right.
and begin to turn just ever so slightly to the side. I mean, you driving the car, your wheel only got to turn just a little bit for you to be going not straight anymore. And so the same thing is true when you're talking about this plow situation. I got to be focused on holding this thing firmly in a forward direction, because when I begin to turn, I've got crooked lines. Right? He said, you're not fit if you looking back. Good, because you're not operating properly. There ain't nothing that's back there for you. That's done already. You're done with that.
Oh, that example with Lot. Don't look back.
Goodness.
What's
over there?
He gave an example.
What's back there? Those people are dying.
Yeah.
He's the most out raining down hellfire on those. There's nothing back there. Why look back?
Yeah.
I mean, we got to get to the place where we understand that if it ain't about the Most High, then it's nothing.
Yeah.
It's no thing. It's nothing if it ain't about the Most High. And it's not even worthy to be looked at. He said, looking back, that person is not fit for the reign of Elohim, because they don't have an understanding of how important the kingdom of Elohim is, obviously. Because they think that stuff back there is more important. How could it be? We talking about the Most High.
The crazy thing is, they came to the Most High and left those things. They knew it wasn't nothing when they left it. When they left it, they knew it wasn't nothing, and they knew they didn't want it. They clung. They said, I'm coming to you now. I'm going to serve you now.
They made a vow.
And then they go back to the same thing that they know that they had already left. They go back to it. Like it's going to be different this time.
It wasn't nothing in the beginning. That's why you was able to leave it in the first place.
Right.
But then you forgot, and then now you want to go back.
It don't make no sense.
That's because they never got rid of that spirit that was drawing them to that thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or killed that spirit. Like I say, we supposed to die. Like,
right.
When you pierce those desires.
Because
they didn't pierce those desires, and they were still in them. That's why they went back.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And so we have to understand that we've made a special vow. A difficult vow, but a special vow to Yeshua, and he's ready to collect. We made a vow giving our life to Yeshua, and we are owned by him. The work is that way. The work's over there. You're moving forward. There's no reason to look back. Back ain't nothing but something that you have overcome already. You already been through that. You already came through that. You already went over that. Right? You already conquered that. There's nothing back there. Back is where the dead are. Right? Back, sometimes is where your family is. Back there. Friends, loved ones, all that. That's what's back there. But it got to get to the place where they got to come follow you,
right?
Because you following after Messiah. You can't follow them no more, because they back there. Back there is where your home is, right? He said the foxes got their den in the nest. The birds got their nest. Back there is where the home is, and where your bed is. But Yeshua ain't back there. He don't got no. He's out. He's on a mission, and we got to be about that mission, walking in faith, steadfast, and convinced of what it is that Yeshua has done for us, what he's able to do what he will keep on doing when we continue in faith. All right, let me just get one more verse over here. One more verse. We just talking about making these vows unto the master. Okay, let's see here. First Peter 2. We're gonna end on this now. 2 and 11 and 12.
Says, beloved ones, I appeal to you as sojourners and pilgrims to abstain from fleshly lusts which battle against the being, having your behavior among the nations good, so that when they speak against you as evildoers, let them, by observing your good works, esteem Elohim in the day of visitation.
So when we think about the promise, that we made to the Most High, right? It's about walking in righteousness. The criteria for following after him is, like I said in them other verses, to deny yourself and pick up your torture stake. Abstain from fleshly lusts, which battle against the soul. These things battle against the soul.
Yeah.
But our behavior among the nations got to be so that they looking at us and they don't understand us. It says, so that when they speak against you as evildoers, let them, by observing your good works. Your righteousness is just so righteous, they're going to sit up there and call you evil. Because it's so contrary to what they're doing. Your life and walk and way of life is so peculiar that these nations going to look at you and your good works and see what you doing, and to them you are evil. These people sitting up here. I just seen this thing the other day about this woman who made herself a man, and then she's with a man.
Yeah.
So she's a woman who identifies as a gay man. But if she's a woman, why can't she just be with a man regular style? Why does she gotta be a man in order and then be with a man? Huh? It's a woman that identifies as a gay man. I mean, but this is the world that we live in, and that's normal.
That's what I'm saying.
Those things are normal.
The people just try to justify that.
Those things are right.
And you're crazy for.
And you're crazy. Guess what? I'll be that. I'll be crazy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'll be that. I'll be
crazy.
an evildoer in the eyes of the wicked.
I'm definitely crazy.
Yeah, I get called that all.
In the eyes of the wicked, I'll be an
Yeah.
evildoer. In the eyes of the wicked. While I'm sitting up here just observing my good works and glorifying Elohim until he come.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you gotta be crazy to do good in the evil world. That's the battle. Because everything is so evil.
It's so wicked.
So you
And it's and it's wicked and it's normal though.
right.
It's the norm.
Right. The wrong thing is the normal thing. Right.
But we had to be in a place because of the vow that we made, because of the promise that we made to our master who saved us. We have to be steadfast in righteousness in spite of the fact that normal is wicked.
Yeah.
Norm is wicked.
Normal is wicked.
Job 9:24. Earth's given into the hand of the wicked. I posted something real basic. It said the Most High made the opposite sex for the opposite sex. It's that simple.
Yeah,
If you, that's basic. Like
it is basic.
Opposite-
It seems basic.
that's the set. Like, and something is produced with it's a function.
Yeah.
The Most High made everything function, but this will operate off dysfunction and make dysfunction normal. And you crazy for making one of the things a function.
Well, to this world, the Most High is the great oppressor. He's oppressing us by not allowing us to be wicked.
Who's him to say that
To
that's
be
how it
wicked
should
and
work?
free.
Right.
Yeah, even though he made us.
Yeah.
See, that's why I say people stupid, man. I can't.
It's crazy out here. And so, but we can't allow for these things that go on out here in this world to confuse us about what's right and what's wrong. We have to be able to be steadfast and know that the Most High is indeed creator and sustainer of all things, and his way is the only way. And we've made a difficult vow unto the Master Yeshua and said that we would indeed follow him wherever he goes. And we're saying that this is about walking in righteousness. It's about moving forward always. It's about you putting our hand to the plow and not letting go and not looking back. Right? If we begin to move too fast and the thing pulls us down and we fall down, we simply just get back up, wipe the dirt off of you, and just keep on moving forward. But there's nothing but death behind you, but there's nothing but life ahead of you, right? And so we have to keep on moving forward and walking in righteousness and allowing for our deeds that we do and every action that we do be a manifestation of Yeshua, who lives inside of us, who leads us and guides us. Okay? All right, so that being said, does anybody have any thoughts or questions or comments about any of these things?
No.
All right, so that being said, remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button, share the video, so that we can continue to let people hear about all the things that we have going on over here, pronouncing the kingdom of Elohim. For now, we'll say Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat
And
shalom.
y'all willing, next week we will be back, beginning with the book of Numbers. All right.